I only see leave room, so I think you have a different thing than me.
Okay, yeah, it's starting broadcast, so it's starting now. So hopefully soon.
Nice.
Hey, we hit 1 4 by 1K.
All right, we're live. Hey
Like,
everyone, welcome to another demo. Uh, I was gonna ask Lewis what the number was so he can guess like every time, but unfortunately, I think we both read it before the stream started. So, yeah, today we have some exciting stuff. Basically, we're moving these to Mondays, just so because it fits our schedules easier. But we like, yeah, I say that, but then it's ironic because turns out on Monday it actually didn't fit our schedule, and neither did it yesterday on Tuesday. So that's why we're doing it today. Sorry for the delay, but there's some really cool stuff to show you. So without further ado, shall we get started, Lewis?
yeah, let's go for it. Um, so I think should we begin with the announcement on the about the podcast on
Yeah,
Log
sure.
Rocket,
So
or should we talk?
how about we like dedicate some time to like news stuff that's been going on around Plasmo, and then also a part of Plasmo, and then we can go into like fun demo stuff. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
sounds
maybe we
good.
can talk about the podcast.
Right. So we just got onto the Pod Rocket podcast talking about the Plasma framework to yeah. Just
Louis, you're cutting out a
before that
little
something.
bit. Um, you still there?
What's the point? Can you hear me?
Hey, I think I hear you now.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear what you did. Were you saying something?
Oh, I was saying, maybe you can talk more about this.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sounds good. So we went on this podcast, and if you want to see kind of like more behind the scenes, like how do we get started with Plasmo, what kind of our thinking is around like a lot of these ideas with browser extensions, the ecosystem in general, you can check this podcast out, and we talk a lot about it. I think it's about half an hour podcast, and yeah, it was really fun to be a part of it. Yeah, shout out to LogRocket for that one. I think I also watched a couple of their other episodes. It was really good too. So once you're done with this one, if you're craving some more front end kind of content, hit a couple others up. I think there's like Rich Harris on there and stuff, and that was a really good one too. But yeah.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Um,
So
so the other big news that I want to highlight, Louis, is so next week we're going to be doing sorry, one sec. Next week we're going to be doing some brain writing sessions. So if you don't know, brain writing is this really interesting
yeah,
concept.
yeah.
If you worked in like big tech companies, or maybe even smaller tech companies that had like a PM that was into brainwriting, you might have seen it. So this is like where basically there's a bunch of people in a room. There is some person running the session, and then as a way to kind of it's similar to brainstorming, but you write down the ideas rather than say them, which kind of offers this like more structured approach to creative thinking. And one of the things we want to do is like
Mm.
the biggest reason why Plasmo as a framework is so successful is because we are very in tune with what's going on with developers. We really understand what the pain points are, and everything we've built has been because there were more than 20 people basically saying like this is a huge problem, and we want to have something to basically fix it. So we kind of want to branch that out and make it a more structured thing. So that's why we're doing these brainwriting sessions. If you look at the Twitter account for Plasma HQ, we actually have a tweet from I think it was yesterday. And yeah, there's this link where it takes you to the registration form. We're giving everyone that successfully goes through this brainwriting session, which is just about 30 minutes, we're giving everyone a $30 Amazon gift card. So if you want to help us out and you want to kind of join the session next week, sign up on that registration form. I think we only have a few slots left, so it's kind of like act fast basically, because those slots probably aren't going to last. But that's kind of that from my side in terms of the news, Louis.
Cool beans. I think last week we also another thing we published this intro kind of end-to-end article on how to creating an extension using Plasmo. I think a lot of people should definitely take a look at it, especially people who are new to Plasmo and also want to understand what Plasmo is and how to just get a really quick start on it. And this is one of the kind of article that. So we've been talking to a lot of partner, a lot of a company, and a lot of people just want to have a good evaluation of what Plasmo is like. So that's the motivation behind why we created this very very quick start, and it's like end to end from creating an extension to publishing it, tutorial, for developers, and it went into the like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it went into like quite a bit of detail, but for a lot of people who have a little bit of like kind of experience with web dev, they can go through this like in pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's at the sweet spot of like not being so simple that it's trivial, but also not being so complex that it like overwhelms.
Yep.
So if you know someone that's like wanting to build an extension, but then when they look at it, like, I think one of the things we were thinking about is sort of like the docs are kind of like a reference, and then these sort of posts that we have and also our examples are kind of showing how to do stuff. So it's a really great way to kind of get started with using Plasmo, and it's like a really awesome write-up.
Precisely. Awesome. And we also updated some of the sponsor tier. We have previously we had some monthly tier kind of sponsorships. So these will stay the same. And these are people who do monthly are I think are people who really want to contribute to Plasmo, the framework stuff. But I've heard from a lot of people that they might want to contribute once. So we also have added another kind of one-time tier kind of sponsorships in which people can select one of these like one-time donation. And there's actually kind of there are tier here, there are higher tier here as well that is using a sufficiently high number. But a lot of this number actually there's a bit of a fun, we did a little bit fun thing with this number here. If you look this number up, you find that they actually a sci-fi concept, or they are part of some of the sci-fi dystopian kind of numbers. So look them up, you might be interested. But some of these are like kind of a large 1 month project. If you pay, it's like $8,042 or $47 and $2, right, for like a large 1 month project to do just like kind of a selective kind of project, just to have fun now and then. So we also added that just so that we can allow people to have more kind of way to support our project. Yeah.
Nice, that's awesome, and I love the numbers.
You should look them up. A lot of them are pretty kind of not a lot of people know some of these numbers. Yeah, but they are fun numbers.
I know 42. Right?
Yeah, it's very common. It's Hitchhiker. Yeah, 47.
Yeah,
not a lot of people know.
The only one I know.
Yeah. 5772 is a number.
1701 is familiar, but I don't know what it is.
It's actually the number of the starship from Star Trek, the Enterprise stars, the Enterprise.
Oh yeah.
Ship. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's basically the cargo number or the ship number. All right, I think we're done with the trivia for the day. Let's let's go back to the demo. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think we might want to. Should we? I think next time when we make another brainstorm session, we should add like a short link using our like it's like plasma.com slash s slash maybe brainstorm in the future, so we can easily link them people up to that. Yeah, but here's a link for people. Here's a link for people who might want to.
Yeah, just hey everyone, type in airtable.com/SHR capital TOD 3 capital NF. You got that? Yeah. No, you're right. I think that'd be a really good idea. And it's brain writing, not brainstorming, Louis.
Sure. Brain writing. All right.
But yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Let's go back to what we've been up to over the past. So we just released another minor version. I think a couple of more version, and we will be approaching a major version for Plasmo. I think the major for Plasmo is I kind of envision it to be more of a when we have a lot of the API feature that we have been hoping for, kind of ironing out. At the moment, Plasmo really just help with like the bootstrapping stage, to be honest, like the bootstrapping and like the very beginning of the journey. But I think to be 1.0, I think the Plasmo framework need to do even more, like even helping them in the middle of the journey as well, and not just like the beginning of the steps. So that's why if you look at the issue, we've been cleaning out a lot of the issues, and now there's only a six major issue. And we also rename them into kind of a framework naming, like all DevTools, CSUI, and GCM. I think the GCM is one of the few things that might be interesting to, I think, thinking more about. So like the GCM one is kind of I would say GCM and RPC, the one that for communication, are the two that would actually propelling Plasmo to be much more powerful. As a framework, more than just a bootstrapping tool at the moment. But yeah. All right, let's go back to the release. So for V0.50.2, V0.52.0, we got a couple of new feature. We're exposing the target data to environment. So now a developer can access these environment variable in their project. For example, the Plasmo target. So for example, if you're creating an extension and you don't want to use the target specific file naming, kind of a mechanism that we released recently. Basically, you can do pop-up.chrome or pop-up.firefox to split up your logic. But sometimes you have like a library, a common library you want to use, and you don't want to like split them into two files, then you can use this environment variable to switch between your library version on your logic for each of your extension. So we have the Plasmo target, we have the Plasmo browser, and the Plasmo manifest version that would have this string for you to use and compare against in your extension code. And this will be available during runtime. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So basically, instead of them having to rely on like the file name stuff, so I can imagine like maybe the file name stuff was good, but then you're saying like if they have a library that they're depending on, that library doesn't really know there's no way to kind of tell the library, hey, this is Chrome, this is Firefox, stuff like that. But now it's possible with accessing these variables.
Mm-hmm. They can also swap between two libraries. I can see it. They can also do like an asynchronous require kind of way. I guess you can't really do async require in MV3, but perhaps they want to load different. They can load different in template file. Something they can do. Or
yeah, and even the library can access these things, right?
Yeah.
So like in the extension library.
Yeah, or like executing certain script for something like that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So very simple feature, but pretty powerful for a lot of people who are working on like extension that targeting multiple like browsers. The second feature is actually, let's talk about that. Save that for last because that's the one that we can demo the most. The third feature that we added was the data environment. So previously, we have the Plasma documentation mentioned a couple of scheme. So these are, so for example, right, we have HTTP and that. So this is kind of like the protocol, right? But in Plasma and also within the Parcel ecosystem for like bundler and plugin, the protocol the protocol part of the URL, they call it a scheme. And this is also being used within in Expo as well. Expo also called this a scheme. Android and also iOS also call this the protocol part of the URL a scheme now. So they call everyone is calling it a scheme now. So so previously, Plasma has a couple of schemes that we describe in the assets section. We have the oh, actually no, I think it's in the FAQ actually. We have the database 64 scheme, data tag scheme, and URL scheme. So database 64 scheme transforming the file that you're importing into base 64 string and appending it into the runtime of your script. The data text scheme transform the asset you're importing into just raw text and put that as a string into your runtime script. And the URL actually convert that into a Chrome extension URL, like a Chrome extension. It's actually become a Chrome extension / the ID and / the asset name actually for using the URL scheme. So those are a couple of schemes that we have support so far. A lot of them. So we are now introducing two new schemes. We have the data env, and we have the raw env is another one in that same PR. Let me move to the PR. So the we haven't added an example for this guy yet. We haven't added an example yet. We might need another example. So if anyone up to create an example, that'll be a good contribution. But basically, we now have the data env scheme and the raw env scheme. The raw env scheme would importing the file as a raw asset into your project and actually replacing any Plasma public environment with the environment from your env file. The data env scheme would import the file as plain string into your runtime, and it will also replacing all the environment variable inside that block of text with your environment variable. And it has to be only Plasma public prefix environment variable will be replaced within this kind of a scheme. Yeah. So so this feature was actually notified by one of the community member, and yeah, it's actually I think we wanted to add that while we were doing the target flag for the Plasma framework, but we kind of forgot about that. So now it's in, so enjoy.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't wait to actually use it in some of my extension. I think, yeah, because a lot of the time when using like variable, right, and reusing, a lot of time environment variable are, it's almost everywhere, and you kind of want to reuse them a lot of time, especially right with config file and stuff like that. A lot of time you reuse a lot of them, and so this would allow people to have a single place for their environment variable and they can use it anywhere. Yeah. And the cool thing is they can even use this, I think, even for their CSS file actually, because a lot of the CSS we do with content script, right? You would do data text for the CSS file, you can actually replace that with env, and now in your css you can actually use some environment variable if you want. Perhaps, yeah, might
So
fun with it.
basically, the idea here is, at least for the data env portion. So what you're saying is I can have a CSS file. I can put plasma underscore public underscore something something,
Hmm.
and then I can have like a .env.dev file or dot whatever, and
Yeah,
then I can actually write something in that file. But then during runtime, or no, not even during runtime. Like when it gets bundled, that CSS file, our like parser or like bundler or whatever, is actually going to replace that with the actual like environment variable, right?
precisely. Yeah,
I wonder what like cool tricks this enables.
yeah, I know, right? People might be able to actually do like, I think, because they can leverage this together with css variable, something along that line. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, one of the simple ones I could think of is like, I imagine like for your dev version of your Chrome extension, you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
you want to make sure that people know it's dev, so then you make the background like red, right, of your
yeah,
thing,
yep, yep.
stuff like that, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Precisely. That'd be fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Marking out the version, right? Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And the last feature that we just shipped is create plasma width. So this is kind of a feature that we've been planning for a while now. I think the issue has been sitting for about how long? Let's take a look. I think about a month actually. About a month, or yeah, we created that June 30.
So about like
This
a
is
month and a half.
a month and a half. Yeah, take a while, right, to eventually get onto it. But we got through and we got it done. Um, so now let's do a demo, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Saban, which one of these examples do you want me to create
Hmm.
an extension using? All right, we have a lot of
Let's
them.
do. So we were just talking about environment variables. So let's do the with n files.
All right, let's do that. So let me just make a new terminal here and cd inside. Oh yeah, we're using Microsoft. I'm using Microsoft Terminal, and as you can see,
Dang,
it could be a.
6 seconds to load your terminal. Jeez.
I know, right? It take a long ass time, 7 seconds, which is insane. But hey, at least I can play some games, right? Jeez, I can play some games. I didn't have time to play game though. At least for the past 3 weeks. So, well, all right. Let's go to my create plasma test directory. So as you can see, we have nothing here. Let's do npm create a plasma slash dash with env. All right. Let's do that.
Oh, I think it's with env files.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's alphabetical. So go up a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. You know what? Let's go with it, right? Hopefully,
Okay.
it will tell us. Oh, shoot! The example not found. You might want to find the request. So if you click this link, right, doc.com/exp, should point you to our project and say, hey, I want I want the with env missing. Here you go. All right.
Just for everyone viewing, please don't ask for renames.
Yeah, I just don't ask for rename.
But yeah,
But
no, that makes
yeah.
sense.
But just a demo of one of his
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
coolish fallback. Not a fallback, right? It's an error, but now Oh shit. Oh shit. All right, should I? Anyway, let's do this. ENV. Hey, hopefully it's not that fast, right? All right.
Oh man.
All right. With
I wonder if
ENV
we're gonna
5.
get some random people in here. All right, let's go.
They might. All right. And then you know what? Just do proper name. All right. It's pretty fast.
So the idea here is like people have people see a cool example and they want to kind of have a Plasma project, but they don't want to do Plasma in it and then copy over all the random like files that are in that example from the examples directory, or they don't want to
Yep.
clone the entire examples directory, right? So this way you
Precisely.
can just like pull the specific example out.
Precisely. Yep. And we're done. So let's get inside the with env test. Take a look at it. Yeah, let's code it as well. Let me throw the editor over here. All right. So as you can see, we have all the setup stuff. We just have to rename the env local file here to the correct file name. Oh,
Right.
env. Also, we should use .env actually. Yeah. I should rename this. Actually, I should fix that to actually use .env instead of .env local.
So, and also to everyone looking, wondering what Louis just did. So this isn't a byproduct of our like Plasma example fetcher. It's just that this example uses example.env and you need to change this anyway.
Yeah, because this is basically just like an example. Here's an example env for you, and then you have to create an env file. The weird thing is that I thought, we only ignore local file. I think this is the old one. We had to fix this now. Good thing that we test this one out because we do need to ignore. I think we want to ignore every single env file actually, and not just .local env.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll do that after this, but. Let's say that let's test a new feature out, shall we? I'll add a test.json file here, and I'll have some hello with the let's see, Plasma applet. What is it? Shipment. All right.
So here, what you're doing basically, Louis, is you're creating a new JSON file, and then you're going to reference it from the code by importing it using the data-env scheme.
Precisely.
And then we will put it up on the pop-up, and hopefully everything, if the stars align and everything goes smoothly, it will basically substitute whatever is in the Plasma public variable.
That's what I hope. All right. Then let me let's do this. JSON.jfile. All right. Ooh. Oh, we forgot to add the data env into the TypeScript declaration file. Oh lord.
Oh,
It's fine. It's an error, but it should be fine. It should compile. It should run. It just show this error. So meaning the data env scheme is not recognized by TypeScript yet. We just have to add that. Right. That's found a bug, a minor bug. We'll fix this after the break. All right. Now that we got that, let's just run the example. We simply do npm def. All right, I hope the star online is high, man. By the way, my monitor, I'm looking at my monitor right now. I have a huge monitor up here, so I'm looking at the monitor, not looking away, just for fun. All right, let's opening Chrome right now, loading up Chrome. And let's unpack the extension we just created. It's coming from Plasma tests, create Plasma with env test, build, Chrome mp3 dev, so in that folder. All right. So now we've shown that. So on this pops up, that should be oh nice. Oh root.
we got an essay.
We got an essay, yeah.
I see the JSON.bars below. I think that's the.
Oh, interesting. It might have converted. It might have converted the JSON into JS file. Actually, what the hell? I think it should be inline though. But I think I see what it's doing here. So if we do like the data text, right? We'll do the same thing. Oh, that's not good. I think this is a bug too. But what happened here is that so apparently the JSON file has been turned into JS. It turned into a JS module file, and then it get thrown into So we do like what is it? Bundle text. There's another scheme here. The same shit. Yeah, this is I think this is an issue with parser that we've been trying to resolve some time ago with JSON file, specifically JSON actually. But I'm pretty sure if we rename it to test, okay, let's do just txt, okay. Let's try the txt file. It should show that hopefully it worked. The JSON file went through some transformation too.
Right. I think when we were building our own Chrome extension a long time ago, the same thing happened, right? By the way, I think it's still JSON, yeah. Didn't we have some issue like that, Lewis, with like manifest file? Nice, yeah, it worked.
Yeah, it worked. So it replaced our thingy with the one. Yeah. Yeah, so
wasn't the manifest file the same thing where like it would make it .js?
Yeah, it turned all the web accessible resource from JSON to JS file. I think this is a way that somehow the parser. So if we look at the config of parser, let me just explain what the hell is going on here. So parser has the default config, and within their default config, we have the So all JSON files are being passed through the transformer JSON, and it seems this is somehow transform everything into JS file, into like JS, because basically what it did, right? It grabbed everything inside a module export, so that you can actually import it into your source code. Yeah.
Got
which
it.
is not what we want.
Right.
Unfortunately, I feel like we can just I would investigate the transformer JSON, and I would likely just remove it. To be honest, I'd rather just remove the transformer JSON and just use like the text transformer maybe. Yeah, I think one of the thought process they have in mind is that it's actually not data.env. So we're not supposed to stringify this actually. We can just do like so if we go back to rename it back to JSON. So this test data is now actually a JavaScript module now. Actually, it's not a JavaScript module. So supposedly we can do test data.hello. I think. Let's try that. Let's see what it does. Nah, it doesn't do anything. We just do test data. What does it do? It's because the data.env, because the data.env return as a raw string because it convert everything into string. Okay, if we remove data.env, what happened? So we remove data.env and just import it like this. What do we have? Does it do anything? Well, probably because it's a React component now, so we have to do test data to hello. And yeah. Basically,
Right.
it is now a JS module that you can import into your code, and it basically can compile in runtime. But but I think that's not the type of behavior we want within this kind of within an extension. I think at the moment
Right.
it's quirky.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just thinking about like, yeah, is it possible to like put that data env before the JSON transformer?
At the moment, we're actually doing. So let's look at the code that we have so far for the transformer, right? So if we go to our parcel config slash actually the index.json. So here's our parcel config. So within our parcel, here's our data env, right? So what we do is we inject environment first. We inject the environment, then we just let it do whatever we want it does, and then here's a transform inline string. It inline the data. Yeah, maybe this might be damaging. The inline string might be potentially damaging. It's something that we might need to think about, because so this inline string is good for text file, but for JSON file, it's not good. For
Right.
JSON file, they want to kind of bundling it into. So like for JSON file, right? It should be just this. For JSON, it should be just this. So basically, we inject the environment, and we let parcel the default transformer handle the rest.
Is it possible for us to run this stuff before they run their thing?
Yeah. It's already doing it right now, right? We declare our inject environment, and then we do whatever they want to do, right?
Yeah. So how about we do ours before what they want to do? That way, when they run, it will become a module, right?
Yes.
So, like, what if we put that line you just deleted, like after line 8?
So this doesn't work, right? What happened with the inline string, right? They were supposed to so the inline string was supposed to turn the entire thing into raw text, and then turn that into like a just a normal string.
Right.
Yeah. Which is why it is being used in data text. So data text will take everything and supposedly turn them all into string that you can inlining into your code, except for some other file, some other kind of like, for example, JSON or TS or so on. They actually get turned into, they will still be turned into inline string, right? But because of the previous transformer, they get turned to that raw JavaScript string you saw. Like that is a valid, like that is a valid string, right? Yeah, but because we did not execute it during runtime, it's just a string. We cannot extracting the data. We can exec it, maybe we can exec it. Yeah, we can exec the string and then can't extracting the data out. But otherwise,
Could we? So the other thing I was thinking about, could we run it twice?
So which one twice, by the way? Inline string?
Yes.
Run it twice.
So the thing on my mind is like, okay, so we have this thing, so we want to change the code, right? We want to replace the environment variables with their actual like values.
Yep.
And also like, I think like if we do what Parcel does, which is we treat JSON files as like JavaScript modules, so they're easily like you don't have to manually parse them yourself. Like, could we have a pipeline where it changes the environment variables and then it still does the JSON transform as well?
I think so. That's what I thought in my mind is we might have the data env and we have a data text env. Because the idea is that the data env, so normally every file will not be input as an inline string. Actually, if So if it's not if not being used with a scheme like this, right? Parser will try to parse, and if there's no transformer, it will bail. It will ignore them all. So by default, JSON at the moment we're using the default config. So
Right.
JSON would use this transformer JSON thingy. Yeah, and this basically turned the JSON into JS for JavaScript runtime with JS runtime. And then after it done the transformer JSON, right, it would make it into the inline stringy thing. But I think this might work actually. I don't know, but maybe this might work. So if we do like this, JSON like that, maybe that work.
Right.
So we remove this thing. Yeah. So we inject env and we let them handle the rest. Yeah. So that's something that perhaps we can try, or we just separate it out. We separate the concept of, hey, there's a data env, right? So you
Right.
should just inject env. But then if you want the injection, but you also want to make import into text, then you do data text env.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so that might make more sense like that. So if we use data env now with this, it should work, I think. It should inject env, and then you do all the all the JSON kind of transforming into JS module. And so user can now import into the code and kind of printing out the variable.
Oh, by the way, I just saw. So you see like transformer dash inline dash string.
By the way, this, yeah.
Yeah. So I was reading that as like the thing that's injecting the and.
No, yeah.
They're two different things. Okay,
they're two different,
yeah. That's where I was like, yeah, probably for the last 10 minutes I've been saying very confusing things.
Okay. Yeah, basically we have, so the inline string is the one that we're using from Parcel. They provide that transformer, and then we have our own transformer that inject in.
Right.
But basically, right now it kind of works, but not for JSON file, I guess. Okay, so I think the huge use case are for JSON file, so we should looking at fixing that, I suppose. But I think if we do raw env here, I think the raw env we're actually importing this file. I think. Let's just try it. What would that do? Would it even compile? Would it even build? It build. Okay, so let's see in the build. Yeah, it actually turned it into test JSON here. It actually replaced the data. Yeah, kind of cool.
Nice.
This text data now, I think, is just a plain file though. So I wonder how would it look like in our pops up. Yeah, I'll pop this giant. Let's take a look at the test. Let's find .json here. So we just look up for the .json thingy. And not there. Oh, here we go. So it requiring. Oh Lord. Not sure if this is gonna work. Huh. It might work actually. Let's get the bundle URL. So this would kind of get the JSON file, importing it, and perhaps can print it out. Oh, we'll see. Let's just print the test data and see what's up. Yeah, the bundling process has no issue, so we can just go back to our Chrome browser and take a look. Oh, look at that! So that's a path to our JSON file, right? We can basically, I guess we have to fetch it. We can fetch it. Yeah. Here's another way to do it right now, right? Is that you can do const. So this is test data URL. We do const data set test data. Yeah. All right. We would have to import it, and then we do a use effect. Then we fetch the data. Here we go. Nice. And here we actually will print out the data. And because data is just text, yeah, we want text. I can do a text for now, because I don't want it to be too fancy. The data should print. Let's go to our thingy. Nice. See that? Hello and one. So the workaround work, but we should take a look at how to actually fix it.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome.
But I think this should work for the majority of cases where people want to kind of use. Actually, no, it will not work yet for one cases, which actually in the original issue, a person was trying to use this feature with the decorative net request feature of MV3, and because the transformer, the power cell, the transformer that we have for the manifest to create that decorative net request, the code is right here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we fork the transformer to do some stuff in our way. But so here's the decorative net request. So the current pipeline is still using the raw pipeline. But we do want to use the raw env here, I think, either raw env or some other that can actually injecting our thingy, our environment variable. And yeah, actually this should fix it for them. Actually, this should fix it. All right, we'll test it out and we'll let people know. All right.
Yeah, that could. Once we test it out, let's demo it for next Monday. That should be a good one.
Yeah, I think we might want to do more. Maybe either experimentation with the DNR feature, or I don't know. Maybe let the community test it out and see what they have. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, I think that's pretty much it for us.
Sounds good. One last thing. We have a German translation of Plasma.
Yes. That's right.
Huge thank you to Bennett. GitHub username Vantezen. They were kind enough to listen to our plea last demo that we want more translations, and they set up the German translation. Here it is, slowly showing it. Yeah, it's awesome. Super grateful, and really a huge thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think he also created a couple of other PR to our example of the storage as well. He did a lot of stuff with the storage package. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Bennett.
Awesome. I think that is pretty much it for demo.
Yeah. Way to wrap it up. Got a community contribution. The other thing that we were thinking about, I'll save it for next demo. So we should be good. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As always, hit us up if you have any problems with Plasma, any feedback, anything like that. And then again, we only have a few spots left for the brainwriting session. So if you want that $30 Amazon gift card, sign up and you know where to look. It's on our Twitter. Other than that, nothing for me. Hope see you guys next Monday. Louis, anything on your end?
I think that's pretty much it. See you all next. What, Monday? All right, Monday.
Monday, Tuesday. The days are all blending together these days. So who knows?
I know, right?
But
who knows?
Yeah. All right. Take care, guys.
Take care, y'all.